do a little bit of prep here, try and clean it as much as we can, but there's a limit to what we can do. And yeah, we'll have to see how we go on. But I'm going to have a practice go on something else. This is not that brittle, shall we say. I can't imagine you would easily snap this off by accident, so this is maybe a different alloy to the BSA barrel. So whatever we learn from welding this up might not necessarily apply totally to the BSA. Don't know. Okay, we'll do one more. This experiment is done and dusted, and yeah, I'm quite happy with the conclusion of this. Looks okay. Well, that's a bit of a nuisance, a bit of a bummer. Just got these two pieces welded. That's not a lot of weld there, really. And suddenly, a big crack, and this is just split all the way down here. I did think, well, maybe it will just have to be left like that, rather than trying to weld this up, but there's a step there. This side is slightly higher than this side. Oh, poop. This could be one thing leading into something else. Yeah, it might just keep getting worse. Don't know. You can see the step there now. You bastard. How am I going to do this? I think I could be asking for trouble in trying to weld this up, but it needs to be level, I think. I can see this whole thing being a bit of a nightmare. Probably would be better not to put the original fins back, but to make new ones out of something a bit less brittle. Oh, let's see how we get on with this. I don't know about the quality of these castings. I don't know what's in it. There's a lot of crap coming out of them along here. Just welded this up and it's ticking and tinging. I think I was hoping I'd grab the camera and record some of it. Have we got a crack here? bugger. Well, I don't know what's happened there. I don't know, that looks like that's welded. I can't see any cracks in this here. I bet when I get to do this, something else will crack. Yep, just cracked again. Ridiculous. Think. Whoa. Are we done? So I normally use 5% silicon rod on castings, but I'm going to try some 5% magnesium on this, see if that makes any difference. Although maybe the problem was that when I welded it before, I didn't really V it out like I have just done. I'll try the magnesium. I usually find more problems with cracking with 5% mag rods than 5% silicon, but I don't know, sometimes it seems to be better to have something that's not a match to what you're welding. I don't know, we'll see. Ting. Oh, you bugger. What's going? Something must be... Oh, I don't know, it's a nice... Oh, that's a crack. Oh dear. I bet as soon as I stop the camera it will crack. But even if it doesn't, that's got to be smoothed off, which will seriously weaken it. Bet your life it will crack then. And as I suspected, as I've ground this down, this has started cracking. There's a little crack there, and it's like a stretch mark down this bit. You little bugger. I bet by the time this is all smoothed off, that crack will come all the way down here. Yep, knew it would. And it's not even... Well, it's not far off being flat, but crikey's, the crack's back. Oh my god. It might have to stay there. Well, this is down smooth now. And this bit here seems to be holding together. So I'll have another little go at this. One last time to see if we can get that to weld together and stay welded. I don't think I was just going to say the crack hasn't pulled apart as much as it did before, but that's probably this bit holding it together. So this weld has finally decided to hold. I just walked away to make myself a cup of tea and I heard a loud ding. Come back, Yeah, it's cracked across this now. Across here. Ah. We're struggling to get anywhere with this. Right, I got that pretty hot. Well, it seemed hot to me. Give it a good few minutes blasting with a blowtorch. See if that's made any difference. So we did that. And I've just welded it again across here. And we'll see if this cracks. Well, it's pretty hot to handle at the minute. So I'm just going to walk away and leave it. Come back tomorrow and see what it looks like then. Well, thankfully we've had no more cracks since these welds were all smoothed off. I suppose there's still a bit of tension in that. And also, I don't know if you can see it on the video. You can see the different colour of the filler that's gone into this weld here. Loads of dots down the side. Oh, just half the course with old castings, I think. And there's nothing we can do about it. That's just going to have to stay there. Not quite flat. Not bad though, I think. So, on to the next one. And in order to hopefully avoid these fins cracking down the middle after we've welded them on, we have tried to anneal these. I think we've done a pretty decent job of it, and assuming that they have been, or they were, heat treated when they were made, and even if they haven't, heat treating, the second stage is like artificial hardening. Second stage is artificial aging. And since this thing is like 60 years old, it's going to be pretty well aged. And so, annealing process, a 2-hour soak at 415 degrees centigrade. Well, we've tried to do that with the best means we can, and we used a little furnace. Bit hard to make sure that the temperature was where it needed to be, but we've tried to do that as best we can. So yeah, a couple of hours at 400 odd degrees, and then let it cool down gradually. So hopefully these are no longer, actually I think they have lost a bit of their ringiness when you tap them. There's a little bit left, but yeah, it's a bit of a subjective assessment of their hardness as to yeah, we shall see. We'll have a go at welding these on, and they've obviously got to go in order. This is the next one, and then working our way to the top. Well, this one is all welded on from scruffy welds. It's really hard to get in here. There's not enough room. And of course the fine corners melted away, so there's big blobs been put back so that we can fill that in. But what was really annoying, as I was doing this, I suddenly heard a ding, and I thought, oh god, it's one of the welds just cracked. And I did this little bit first, and then went over and did that bit. Then came along here, and at one point I heard this ding, thought, oh bugger, something's cracked. And what's happened is the one underneath has cracked again. Where it originally split, it's split again. Oh, you... duh. Now, I'm not about to take this one off again just so that I can weld that, but is it worth trying to weld across here just so that it doesn't show right on the edge? Yeah, I think I've got to do that. It may or may not crack again, and if it does, well, it'll just have to stay there. Right, I've smoothed off these welds on this fin as much as I think I need to do. Probably more than was necessary, really. As soon as it's going to get covered over, and you won't see this, I've got some horrible holes here. And I think if this was going to be visible, I'd want to be going over this. That is really, really bad. But I don't want to go over it again because we've got a little crack in here. So I don't know whether it's a bit hard to see that now. I've gone over this with some coarse emery paper to try and replicate the grain of the casting. But yeah, there is a crack here. So I don't know whether our annealing job wasn't good enough, or whether it's just the way I've welded this in. I kind of tied it in at each end first, kind of there, creeping out to the edge, and same at that end. Yeah, I don't know why there's so much nasty holes in there, but yeah, tied it there and there. I can't remember where I went to then after that, but I think what may have happened is coming along here, I think this was the last bit I did, there and there, and I'm guessing that's pulled in because when these fins were cut off, they were cut off with just a cutting disc, and it basically has left a gap in order to get the corners. It's hard to do this, I need 3 hands. I should have put the camera on a stand. Yeah, in order to get the corners to line up here, and obviously on the other end as well, I ended up with a gap, which I thought was actually good, more likely to get a bit of penetration in the weld, but that gap has allowed, I think, for the welds to pull the part in, and in pulling in it split down the middle. Don't know. Or I may not have got the preheat hot enough as well. So I'm going to try and fit this one, the next one, in a bit closer, so that there's not so much of a gap between the fin and the barrel. And if there's a step at the end here, well, I'll just have to blend that in afterwards. And I also need to make sure it is well up to temperature with a preheat. So yeah, let's try and get this one in. Right, there was a little hole just here on the edge, a bit too big to really blend in without it maybe noticing. I don't know if anybody's going to really notice this, but I could see it, so I thought, right, I'll just file that out and blob over it again. And as I'm just filing this out, it has cracked along that join, along there. Come on, camera, focus. Just along there. Oh, you bugger. A lot of porosity in here, again, as there was on the one underneath. Whereas on this side, that's much nicer. It's not, I can't just blame the metal, I don't think. I think it's partly what I'm doing. And because you're doing thin things, thin sections here, the temptation is to jam some filler in there before the thing melts away. And really you need to get a bit of heat in there to bubble all the impurities out. Oh, crap. I need to go over this, I think. I think it's well fixed here and here. And it's still got a ring to it. So I don't think it's about to fall off, but yeah, I think I need to have another go at this. I don't know, maybe I'm okay to blame the metal for some of my problems here. I've just ground there were some nasty holes in. I'll just ground them out with a Dremel. And this is not where well, the crack is where I welded it, and this is to the side of that. So this is in the main body of the casting, and it's just, oh dear, gassing out. I want to have fun trying to go over this. I'll think I'll need to heat this up again. I think it's better if the whole thing is up to about 100 degrees centigrade before we start trying to weld it. I'm sure if I just try and go over this, it will just crack again as soon as it cools. Well, finally got that welded up again. I don't know if it will last. It took a few goes. First time I tried it just cracked again. And I filled in the holes but got a low spot along the edge of the weld. Oh, and a few other little pinholes. Gosh, as long as it holds together, I'm just gonna have to be happy with that. I've ended up using a pure rod, well, 1050, I don't know what that is, 99 point something percent pure. No silicon, no magnesium, no nothing in it. And should be really, really soft. My thinking was that if the weld itself is cracking, we just need a really ductile filler. I don't know if that makes sense. Obviously no strength to it really, but it's just holding a fin in place, so it just needs to hold it without cracking. Yeah, I hope that's done, and I can put the last remaining fin on now. Right, that last fin is on. All the welds are smoothed off. They haven't cracked again, thank God. We've got some little pinholes along the edges of the welds. So I'm having trouble to see it in this. Yeah, there's a little bit there. But kind of par for the course on this kind of thing. So all in all, at the end of the day, not too bad, thankfully. The fins I've welded back on seem to have buckled slightly. They're not quite straight. I would say that one is the worst. But hey, it is what it is, as we like to say. So hopefully it can all go back on the engine and it will all stay together. As long as it doesn't get dropped between here and the bike or the engine rebuild bench, wherever it's got to go. Yeah, not too bad at the end of the day, quite happy with that, but crikey did that take a long time.